These AI fake generated videos are getting completely out of control.
Mr. Reagan.
That was yours. We thought that baggie belonged to Hunter. You know, I think the Secret Service probably still has it somewhere.
I have been stealing the money.
I'm sorry, what's that now?
I must to speak honestly. I steal many of USA dollars.
Wow. As, of course, tell me you're telling the truth without telling me you're telling the truth here, as we have some crazy, bombastic news coming from not just Europe, but also Canada, that is now threatening to align themselves with Britain because they have, quote, nuclear weapons. Just when you thought the scenario and situation couldn't be more out of hand, we have a larger trade war right now with Canada, Mexico, and China, which is going to, of course, change things very significantly. All of this as, of course, we have the larger conversation about World War III, which, again, as I told you, as I've been talking about here for quite a long time, is something that is always what we want to avoid. There's a small percentage that it might happen. The breakdown of these peace talks does signal larger troubles ahead geopolitically, but how will that translate with the larger maneuvers being made right now? Well, with the latest statements we have from Zelensky, it is showing us that, of course, we cannot achieve this if it's not for the direct support of the United States. Now, the United States is not playing any games here. Let's talk about this because we have a lot to get into, as we have a lot of media organizations now talking about the larger prospects of World War III. Politico had a very interesting article with World War III is already underway in Ukraine. They released this article all the way back in 2024. We have another one by gbnews.com saying, is Europe on the brink of war? These three scenarios could escalate the situation. And of course, the situation has already been very drastically escalated because I would partly say the responsibility of these two, the president of Ukraine and the prime minister of the United Kingdom, that look like they are trying to do everything they can to continue this larger proxy war between the East and the West. The UK has been playing a significant role when it comes to undermining the peace deals from the very beginning of this conflict, and it looks like that they are the ones that are partly responsible for now trying to push Zelensky into this larger situation, which is going to prolong this madness and insanity that the longer we are in, the longer we, of course, bring us on the precipice of total destruction here. As these ideas that the Prime Minister of the UK have been kind of proposing here are deals that the Russians have absolutely signaled is their red line, that they would never agree to. But yet, still, we have Zelensky going over to the United Kingdom right after the failed talks here. And what we are seeing here is a very dangerous gambit. And we are seeing people play with dangerous scenarios that could unfold, that could drastically escalate here. As it's fair to say here that this larger kind of war is very similar to previous psyops that have been run on world populations. We'll talk about that here in a little bit here, as we have the latest comments from Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, saying that he is looking for a peace deal now. Now, why is he doing this now? The timing is very opportune here, as he has released a statement saying that he regrets what happened in the White House and that he is ready to work under Donald Trump's strong leadership. As we have to understand that all of this is coming at a very key time where specifically Donald Trump just made the ultimate move here, a very dangerous move here, but a move that a lot of the people in Europe, a lot of the warmongers in Ukraine really didn't think he was going to do, but he just did that. And this is why we're seeing Zelensky come and say, hey, let's have this meeting again. It's regrettable what happened last time. Let's restart the deal here. Let's sign the mineral deal here. As previously beforehand, we got multiple reports of him kind of wavering, him kind of saying, okay, yeah, I'll sign this deal privately, and then publicly saying, no, I won't. Then again saying, okay, fine, I'll sign this deal, and then again coming out and saying, no, he won't. As a lot of people are saying that there was a specific deal here to torpedo the peace talks here in order to work with the United Kingdom, and the United Kingdom kind of came back and said, you know what, we're just going to offer you a loan. And that wasn't good enough news for Ukraine, as we have countries like Poland and Germany saying, you want to send troops there? Even as alleged peacekeeping troops? Again, we're not doing that. and they didn't want any part of the kind of wild rhetoric that Zelensky was talking about. As, of course, he also said that an end to the war with Russia is very, very far away. So very duplicitous messages from Zelensky, as, of course, he said this a couple days ago. And by making statements like this, saying, yeah, peace is not going to happen here, Donald Trump, of course, committed a larger kind of ultimate move here that brought Zelensky to the negotiation table and made Zelensky say this. And that, of course, was the move here of specifically saying, you know what? We're going to cut you off from all military aid right now. You're done. The United States no longer is going to be financing this larger kind of crazy military endeavor. And then the Europeans came together and they said, you know what, we're going to figure out how to give you guys, we're going to rearm you with the ReArm Europe initiative. And then all the Europeans looked at each other and saying, who's going to pay for this? And then all the Europeans were like, Sacre bleu, 999. And as we see from poll numbers, a lot of Europeans support giving weapons and money to Ukraine. But also, those same Europeans don't want to give it themselves personally, as financially, Germany is going through major significant problems since, of course, they shot themselves in the foot with their energy policy, as they're still dependent on a lot of foreign energy resources. Europe has been buying a lot of energy resources, not just from the United States, but also Russia itself here. The situation is so complicated here. But before kind of endeavoring and talking about this larger trade war that is also now unfolding, we wanted to tell you about thebestpoliticalshirts.com, a company that I specifically started after we were demonetized on YouTube. And that's why I made my first shirt ever that says demonetized. You could still get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com by typing in demonetized. And when you do that, the shirt should, of course, pop up. I spelled it wrong there because I am dyslexic. If you spell it right, you'll probably be able to find it. But you're able to find a lot of really incredible, awesome, frickin' shirts that start the conversation, that help you meet like-minded individuals. And whatever shirt you're looking for, whatever agency you have disdain for within the government, you could type in right here into the search, find it, because we have hundreds of shirts. Really great stuff that I can't implore enough for you guys to check out and get active, get engaged, and become a lazy activist by also helping build up your community here. Now, what we're seeing unfold here is clearly Zelensky now understanding, as NATO told him, as even the Brits told him, yeah, we can't really do anything here without the support for the United States because we're not willing to foot your bill here. That's what was said here, and that's why Zelensky's coming back after trying to get Europe to continue this war. Europe's like, yeah, we want this war to continue. We'll support you, but there's only so much money that we're willing to, of course, invest in this larger endeavor, as they're cheapos. The United States has been spending money like an insane person, like a middle-aged white woman inside of a mall with cats. She has been just wasting away our resources, our money, our geopolitical interest, as a lot of people in the United States are asking themselves, why is it in our favor to support and build up this larger endeavor that is only creating more death and destruction? And now what we're seeing here is clearly Zelensky bending the knee after the United States cut them off officially from all military aid. As this is a major move here, and this is why Zelensky's coming back. Now, will Donald Trump actually listen to Zelensky here? Will he actually invite him back in? Will there be other now bigger concessions made by the Ukrainians for the United States in order to have some kind of assurances and guarantees here? Well, I think that is going to be playing into the potential art of the deal that Donald Trump is working out here. As, of course, we keep hearing about stories and stories about this latest technological advancement is going to change the tide of war in Ukraine. These latest drone technologies, this latest thing. And we've been hearing about that since the very beginning of this conflict. And let's be honest here, it's largely a stalemate, a very bloody, messy, horrible stalemate, as the Russians are specifically launching new offensives, and they're gaining some territory. Nothing really significant here, but it definitely does seem like all of the soldiers are kind of dug in. The lines are being kind of moved here, and we just have the compelling of death. Why are we doing this? It makes absolutely no sense at all here. And the Europeans trying to subvert the United States, that is the major key player here, that invested more than any other country in this conflict, that spent most of its money here, that supports NATO the most, and trying to work behind the back of America and Donald Trump really does show you the shifting tides, the shifting alliances, and the changing of goals that has essentially been reached as Donald Trump now is looking at Latin America and saying, you know what? I think I'm going to work with these guys. These Europeans that don't respect free speech, that destroy people's civil liberties and absolutely rig the game against Republicans and conservatives inside of their own countries, maybe they're not the best people to work with. And that's what people are realizing. And that's what the liberal government in Canada is also realizing, as the Liberal Party leader, Christina Freeland, now is advocating for closer ties with the Brits, the same Brits that, of course, barge down your door for making funny memes, the same Brits that arrest you for praying and peacefully protesting because you are someone that is not in the special in class that they want to protect and propel. If you're someone that, of course, dares to question the state, you're going to have the full might of the government going after you. Canada loves to do the same things. All those liberals protecting, quote, love to do the same thing. They love to trample on free speech. They love to trample on your rights as a human citizen. And seeing this right now is extremely wild to see, because it just shows you how tumultuous the situation is between Canada and the United States. The Liberal government, Trudeau, Christina Freeland, all freaking out here as Donald Trump is threatening to make Canada the 51st state of the United States. Shows us that he's not kidding around here. And the Canadians are literally trying to establish more ties with the Brits because the Brits have nuclear weapons. That's the mindset of the Liberal woke government right now, which is pretty wild to see, pretty crazy to see, as they're trying to guarantee their security with enhancing their partnership with NATO allies, specifically France and Britain, since they have nuclear weapons. Again, this is the type of deranged thought process of these totalitarian, control freak, central controlling, bureaucratic lunatics. These people are crazy. The trade war has officially begun. Justin Trudeau is pissed off at Donald Trump, saying his move is dumb, as he's vowing to escalate tariffs on America. And Donald Trump says, as officially, he just launched a statement saying this: please explain to the governor. Oh, goodness. This is Donald Trump saying this specifically. I believe he launched it. My sides are hurting. Oh, my goodness. Donald Trump says, please explain to Governor Trudeau of Canada that when he puts on a retaliatory tariff on the United States, our reciprocal tariffs will immediately increase by a like amount. So, yeah. Now we have this larger kind of gambit here. More tariffs on Canada, more tariffs on Mexico, more tariffs and duties on China. This is going to be interesting to see how it plays off here financially. The stock markets is not doing too good. Tesla stock's not doing too good here. How will the markets respond to these larger kind of tariffs here? I think the markets are responding to a lot of the kind of instability and a lot of the kind of financial and geopolitical ramifications still not being kind of figured out here. There's a lot at the table. The Ukrainians still have Starlink, even though they're insulting and going after Elon Musk here. That potentially could be pulled here. That could be another larger negotiation tool used by Donald Trump here. There's also a lot of fake news out there, and we got to be honest with ourselves. There's fake photos of Zelensky wearing a suit at Davos, wearing a suit with the Prime Minister of Israel. Those are all photos before the conflict started in Ukraine in 2022. And then ever since that conflict started, he started to wear his kind of war uniform that he, of course, is cheerleading. Now, there are also people, not just within the British government, but also within our own government that are trying to sabotage the larger kind of negotiations and peace talks here. A lot of people saying, Trump's stupid, Trump's evil, Trump's a Russian puppet. I think Trump's trying to negotiate an end to this, and he's trying to negotiate a way where a lot of the countries get to save face here, and a lot of the countries get to come and declare victory here. Because, you know, essentially, whether you like it or not, Ukraine has to have some kind of concession here. And whether you like it or not, Russians have to have some kind of concessions here. And they have to both go back to their people, and their elected representatives have to go to them and say, I was able to at least get us this. I was able to at least negotiate this. I was able to get a win-win. We need to create a win-win for all the parties. I don't care what party you dislike the most, and people are very partisan on this, but it's fair to say this conflict has gone on for far too long. It needs to end, and it needs to end immediately. If you agree, share this video. Get a shirt on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. We got a lot of great ones. My favorite new one is Big Balls, Employee of the Year at the federal government. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/WeAreChange.